23 bays, over 12,000 square feet. Zip-Zap T-shirt, one-stop shop. Offering 24-hour smog test.
Happy Super Bowl week, everybody. How we doing? Hope everybody's good. Big week for us. Big week for the bricklayers. Some potential prize giveaways. A lot going on. Big day today. Kubiak to the Raiders. How we feeling about the Raiders getting their guy, which is nice. They got their guy.
There's no better place to catch all the action in the playoffs than Bel Air Lounge, site to Ringo Casino Resort, Bel Air.
Getting ready here in a second.
Fights. Where's the slide? Ringo Casino Resort.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun.
All right, man. Hope everybody's doing it. Appreciate you in the stream. Like the stream, please. Like it. Hope you had a good weekend. I did. I lost my voice again before the Super Bowl. Oh, no. I did 4 hours of radio Sunday. That was not smart.
Las Vegas. It's the JD the Brick Show.
You know, we're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance in the place.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT in Vegas. On my way to San Francisco. SFO. Early tomorrow morning. Hope everybody's doing great. I think everybody had a great weekend. The weather is fabulous out here. I wish we had the Super Bowl in Vegas this year. Oh, my God. It's been summertime. February, it's absolute ripping summertime. It's like being in Maui. And now I can go to Maui because it looks like the Raiders have a head coach. And that's the focus of the monologue. Brought to you by Golden Entertainment, our proud partner as we head out to Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco, California. We get there, we'll host Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then after that, I head up to the Kraton Casino near Rohnert Park up there for a big event over the weekend for our Bay Area friends, if you're close. And I'll be back next Monday. And then after Monday, hopefully we have a press conference someday next week, which as it looks to be, the Raiders are going to be, got to wait till after the Super Bowl, hiring Klint Kubiak as their head coach. Raider Nation unite! This is the guy they wanted. This is the guy we told you on this show for a month would get the job. This is the guy that they were isolating to go get the job. It was clear to everybody who's in the know, who didn't want to guess, who didn't go out on a limb, saying something stupid or radical. This was the guy the Raiders wanted from day one, and they got him. Now, that always hasn't worked. It hasn't worked around here recently, and we're hoping it works now. But the Raiders clearly wanted a young, aggressive play caller with a really good track record in coming from a tree, including his father, who's the Super Bowl champion, growing up as a toddler next to John Elway, and the connection to all of the play calling that he's done in the past, from just being involved in meetings, being involved with great coaches, being a part of a really unique tree recently. He's the guy. He's the guy that we told you was the guy that they were targeting. I'm not here to congratulate myself. I never guaranteed it because you can't guarantee anything, and you can't guarantee it now. So I don't think it's going to change next week, Sunday night, Monday, win or lose. But now all the coaching doors have closed. And most NFL media and most NFL insiders believe the Raiders got the best coaching hire of the 10. And not just not being, Raider propaganda here. No, most people say that. Just tune in to other shows. They say this is the guy. He wasn't interested in too many of the other jobs. There was a good connection to his father, to John Spytek, obviously Tom Brady being involved in the process, Mark Davis being involved in the process, and there's a lot of good to this job. So the Raiders looked to have the coach that they wanted, a real stark difference in age from Pete Carroll and some of the other coaches of the past. I don't think we need to age shame anybody. It doesn't matter what age you are. It matters how you win or lose. And he's never had an opportunity at this level. He goes to the famed Raiders organization, and believe me, the Raiders are famous. The Raiders are global. The Raiders don't have to apologize for anything. They've had a bumpy road the last 20 years, but still, the majority of the teams in the NFL would love to be the Raiders. From their history, their Hall of Famers playing in the greatest games, having the most recognized brand out there, the best colors, arguably the best stadium. So Raider Nation don't have to apologize to anybody. Raider Nation got the guy that they wanted. And what I'm going to be talking about here over the next couple of weeks or months is something that is very important to me, if you can please understand this. And I never make the show about me. From time to time, I tell you what I'm doing on the weekend. Yeah, I'm in my backyard. I'm going to this concert, whatever I'm doing. But the show's about you, the fans. It always has been about you. Always. I'm a fan. You're a fan. It's about the fans. We get good guests, but the fans are the priority here. All that I'm hoping for, not asking, hoping for, is that the entire Raider Nation get behind this hire. Okay? I don't know how much shrapnel I've taken the last couple of years for doing my job. For just doing my job and interviewing the coach and wanting the coach to win, and the coach wasn't winning. All the coaches. And then fans turned, some of them on the coaches. Some of the greatest fans in Raider Nation have turned aggressively on our coaching staff. Fact, not fiction. You know it's true. They've turned on the coaches and have become enemies of our coaches who wear our colors in the Raider Nation. They made it very difficult for the coaches when they hit a brick wall, no pun included, and they were trying to win, but they couldn't win. So then what everybody did was they just piled on and wanted to run that coach out. And you were right on most of the coaches. It didn't work. No one's here keeping score anymore. It's a clean sheet. Everything is clean. And I am hoping for a time in Las Vegas, which is not Oakland, not LA. We know the issues in Vegas compared to other Raider markets of the past. But what I'm hoping happens now is that this guy gets a 99% approval rating. There's no more bull crap. There's no more but. What if? I don't know. Stop it. Stop it. Come together. Come together, which I've tried to do my whole career, hanging over the black hole, emceeing events, Raider rallies in Jack London Square, trying to do whatever I can at the torch to motivate fans. And hey, it's been bumpy. It's been bumpy the last couple of years. I'm not calling the defense or the plays. I just want the team to win. For personal reasons and most importantly, your reasons. So you got a guy right now who deserves your vote. He deserves 100% of your support. Okay? If you're not on that train, get the hell out. Get the hell out. If you can't buy into this one, and I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm not saying he's going to win 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not a predictor. I'm not an agitator. I'm not a guy who guesses. But what I'm telling you, I think, is very sound in reasoning from all the alumni I know, ownership that I know, how long I've been embedded with this team. You have something right now that isn't perfect, but it looks really good. Now imagine if you can mobilize the entire Raider Nation for once in 20 years, you can mobilize the entire Raider Nation behind something great, potentially. Are you going to do it, or are you going to stand in the way? Are you going to be an agitator, or are you going to be a supporter? What are you going to do? To me, it's real simple. And look, I've said this for all the coaches that are hired. Pete Carroll, Antonio Pierce, John Gruden, friend of the show, whoever it is, get behind the coach. The coach has got a really tough job. They got to win games. If they don't win games, they're going to get fired. This one's different. He's a young offensive play caller who's going to become head coach, and he needs the support of the entire building. The entire building is going to gravitate behind this guy. I know because I'm in the building. Everyone from suites, ticket sales, community, everybody from the great legendary kitchen staff to everyone behind the scenes, the guys who lay the lines down on the field, to Bobby Romanski's world-class equipment department, they're all behind this move when it becomes official next week. You got to get behind it. And if you can't get behind it, then you are worthy to be judged as what type of fan in the Raider Nation. Oh, yeah, I can do that. I can do whatever the hell I want because I'm available and I'm in public. I can do whatever the hell I want with my opinions. You better believe it. I've never backed down to anybody with my opinions. And I'm not here to be perfect. I got enough flaws, as you know. But it's time for a revolution in the Raider Nation. The time has come in Las Vegas for a revolution of Raider fans on the same page, gravitating to something that could be correct and right and be together. That's the monologue. Are you with me or not? If you're with me, great. If you're not, I appreciate the fact that you listen. But you're not going to be around me. I can promise you that. Okay, we're looking for winners. We're looking for loyalists. We're looking for people who are proud to be Raider fans and are done getting kicked around and being mocked by other teams and national radio hosts and TV shows laughing at the Raiders, telling you how bad the Raiders are, forgetting their history and their past, mocking our owner, going after the fans. How many fans did you sell your tickets to? All of it's garbage. It's time to set the tone for the future. Are you with the future of the Raiders? If not, there are plenty of other teams that would take you and take your money. And the Raider Nation, as I can tell you, as I'm going to San Francisco tomorrow, is still diehard passionate. There are pockets of Raider fans in Oakland, right, in the Bay Area that are as hardcore as any fan base. Maybe this is the hire that they could all get behind. It's not flashy. It's not flashy at all. I've been telling you for a month, we don't need flashy anymore. It's nice. It's nice when you get a flashy hire or a flashy player. It's cool. It's good for the clicks. It's good for the gram. Everybody likes it. But my point is now, leave this guy alone. You know who you are. You know who you are. I'm looking right at you via YouTube at JT the Brick. You know who you are. Okay? You want to be a wise ass? You want to rip the team when it's down? You want to make memes making fun of your team as you're wearing your colors? You're a clown. You're an absolute clown. Now you're happy to come back and get behind it? Where you been when the going got tough? Where you been during the dark times and the hard times? Have you been there? Or have you been a creator of mocking the team when they're losing? Are you more famous for being on the internet when the team's playing poorly by mocking the team that you claim to be your team? You got a tattoo that says Raiders. You got a title that says Raider blank. You claim to be a Raider fan, and you've been mocking this team. Fortunately, it's a small, tiny group of people that make up a joke of the fan base that is a clown show. I'm talking to the Raider fans that I know from the Black Hole in Oakland. I'm a member of the Black Hole. Okay? I'm talking about the diehard fans who love this team and have been through this team during the most difficult days, made the playoffs once in Vegas, okay? Had more success than most teams in this league, got probably the top hire of the offseason, going to probably get a really good staff that's coming together, a really good staff from what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing something on the staff as it's going to come together sooner than later. But with all of the stuff that's happening now, this is an opportunity for you. It's an opportunity for you to look in the mirror, and say to yourself, what type of fan am I going to be? Look, I'm going to get behind Josh McDaniels, Antonio Pierce, Rich Bisaccia either way. Either way. Why wouldn't I? I'm loyal. You're going to get me on loyalty? Good luck. I'm loyal. I'm going to get behind this coach no matter what my role is, no matter what they ask me to do. I've done it all here for this team. I've done it all. I've done it all. I'm happy with my legacy with the fans here and motivating the fans. I'm excited about that. No one can take that away. But with the energy I have, which is superior than most, my energy every day to galvanize and motivate people, I am telling you that this is a unique motivational moment in Raider history, in the history of the Raiders. Because when John Madden got hired as the youngest coach of all time, and even John Gruden, when he got hired, and I was there for that, there wasn't social media. There wasn't. There wasn't podcast. You couldn't make a reel on your phone. You couldn't do some of the things you can do now. And I'm looking at a time now where we're in a really good spot to do something great. So that's it. Sam Bruckhouse from Soonersports.com. Yeah, Sooner Sports. We got him. Really excited that he's joining us from Radio Row. Sam, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Hey, thank y'all so much for having me. This is the best time of year. We got basketball, college basketball, NBA basketball. We got football. We got the draft. And we got the Super Bowl coming up. This is one of the most interesting Super Bowls, I think, in recent years, one of the most closely contested it seems to be. So I'm excited to talk about it today.
All right, we'll get into that in a minute. I want to start off with the breaking news today because I'm flowing with the Raiders signing their head coach and principal. They can't announce it until Monday on what's coming up with Klint Kubiak. How do you feel about that hire?
So I think this is a very unique hire. I, as a data scientist, have been a little lower on Klint Kubiak as an offensive coordinator, particularly as a play caller, play sequencer. I think you look at his pass rate over expected, it is very low. And I think in particular, the back half of the Seattle Seahawks season that really hurt them. I think it hurt the New Orleans Saints last year. And I think way back when it's hurt them in other organizations as well. The difference is I think this is a perfect fit for that type of profile. So while I'm a little lower on him as a play caller, I actually think he'll be a good head coach because you have a rookie quarterback coming in. You're going to have a lot of motions and a lot of play action that'll give him a little better looks. And again, assuming the Raiders take Fernando Mendoza, but you have an excellent running back in Ashton Jeanty who showed, I think, that he could be an NFL running back. You got an offensive line that is headlined by Colton Miller, who played through injuries this year. So ironically, if this was an offensive coordinator hire for the Raiders, I'd be a little questionable, even though he's in the Super Bowl and had the game of his life last week. As a head coach, I think this actually makes sense just from a play calling perspective as a result.
Sam Bruckhouse is our guest. So let me follow up on that because this is interesting information. From the analytics side of this, and he has Jackson Smith and Jigba. They had two running backs in Seattle. They're in the Super Bowl. There were some things that you saw in regards to what? Down and distance, play calling, the analytics of attacking that you didn't love, but you think could work well as a head coach who has play calling abilities.
Correct. To break it down exactly, pass rate over expected means, as you said, down and distance. Is there an expected pass on this play? The difference between passing and running is that passing, on average, succeeds more than running, and in particular has a bigger upside as well. That's why we've seen teams, particularly in Ben Johnson is a great example of this, despite having a power running game, typically does throw the ball around a lot. And so you want to access that higher probability, that higher potential of the passing game. This is not something Klint Kubiak has done during his career. In particular, you will see a lot of first and second down runs, which puts the team behind the chains. And in the second half of the Seahawks season, that really, really hurt their offense. Some of our analysts had them as like the 20 to 25th best offense in the second half of the season. Now, recency bias, that flipped against the Rams. He attacked their base coverages with Jackson Smith and Jigba. It was an excellent game from Sam Darnold as well. So maybe, this is something that is strategic. Maybe they're trying to set up the pass. I prefer setting up the run with the pass rather than the pass with the run. And that's just something you're going to have to look out for. That being said, he has turned Derek Carr's career around a little bit. It looked good in the first 4 weeks before injury. He turned Sam Darnold's career, continued to turn Sam Darnold's career around as they're now in the Super Bowl. I do think it's a good fit for Fernando Mendoza. I do think it's a good fit in particular for the team with a young quarterback. But I do think over time, I could see a scenario where, in particular, very similar tree, very similar approach. Bobby Slovic at the Texans had a very similar approach, and that he ends up not getting a head coaching position. I could see Klint Kubiak falling, victim to some of the same tendencies.
Sam Ruckout says, guys, where do you stand on Mendoza before the Heisman, leading up to the Heisman, the play after the Heisman, as you analyze the tape, if you look at him? Because there is fair criticism of him, but he shut up a lot of critics with those passes being on time. And is it fair criticism that he makes quick reads and he makes quick decisions and the ball comes out clean? And he played on a good team with a good offensive line, and some analysts hold that against him because he won't have that initially in the NFL.
Yeah, so I want to hone in on that last point that you said, because that's probably his biggest weakness. In the analytics, in the AI, we track what we call sack avoidance. And the idea behind that is we know that teams are planning to get the ball off within about 2 to 2.5 seconds each play. If it's held on for longer, it's either because it's some type of trick play, a long play action look, or the player is scrambling around a lot. So on sacks after 2.5 seconds, he really struggles to decrease pressure probability. When you look at some of the best sack-avoiding quarterbacks in the league, they're some of the best. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, who was a little worse this year, but typically has been very good. Jordan Love, this is a superpower of. And frankly, the reason why the Broncos offense is viable is because Bo Nix is the best in the league at this. He just eliminates negative plays altogether, and they're able to build an offense on that, despite him not being the most talented of all time. Fernando Mendoza, not exactly the most talented of all time. He has prototypical size. He does remain poised in the pocket. He also has scrambling ability that I would pertain more to using his head than necessarily his athleticism, but he does greatly struggle with sack avoidance. And in particular, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders struggled with that last year as well. So if I were to say an expectation right now, I think you'd expect him to be about an average rookie quarterback, which is not very good. However, that does have a lot to do with coaching. That has a lot to do with scheme. And so I do think it's kind of a toss-up, but I think if you're the Raiders, you got to go with the quarterback at number one. He's number one in the consensus, and I think it makes most sense.
Wrapping it up with Sam Bruckhouse, joins us live from Radio Row, the Moscone Center in San Francisco. We appreciate his time. You know, I'm in Vegas, and I hang out with a lot of gamblers. I'm not a gambler, but I talk to as many gamblers as anyone. And they're overwhelmingly believing that Seattle is the favorite. I'm wondering if it goes from 4.5 to 5, if sharp money's going to come in here on Seattle. And where you stand on the Patriots' week schedule when 11 teams that they played fired their coaches. They played a last place schedule, won a big game at Buffalo, but had games against Tennessee and New Orleans mixed in there. How do you evaluate the Patriots as an underdog heading to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think it's a weak schedule until you face the Texans and the Broncos defense, which they didn't handle great, but they were able to pull out the victory. And so I, for one, take a little less purview in the strength of schedule argument over a 17-game season. I'm a former player. I played linebacker at Tulane, and it's just so difficult to maintain a level of performance over a 17-game season without regressing to the median. I don't take a lot of stock in the strength of schedule argument. Now, the Seahawks did prove a lot more against better teams, but I think when you look at Drake May, you look at that defense, the things that they're doing, McDaniels, how he's calling the offense, I do think this is a little bit more evenly matched up. I think the matchup that people are going to want to look at, you can look at it on sumersports.com/live as the game progresses. If you do indeed want a live bet, is how the Seahawks offense is doing versus that defense. I think it's a weakness versus weakness matchup, and I think that's actually where the game is going to be won rather than the strength, which is Drake May versus the Seattle defense.
Sam, finally tell everybody where they can follow you, get the information again, what you're specializing for, especially in the lead up to Super Bowl 60.
Yeah, so I mentioned sumersports.com/live. That's great for bettors. But also, if you want to get an early jump on draft betting, go check out the evaluation on February 12th on Sumer Sports, SUMER Sports YouTube channel. We have multiple former general managers and scouts who are letting you into the guys like Mendoza and all the other draftees. We're talking about them as scouts really do and how those draft meetings go. This is the first time ever that you can see those interior discussions live with WWE's own Big E, who will be out in Vegas for WrestleMania as well. And then I'm also bringing the analytics on there. The evaluation on Sumer Sports YouTube on February 12th. Check it out. It can give you a real jump on this draft and show you some insights that you may have never had before.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I'll be up there tomorrow. I hope to see you on Radio Row.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hope to see you.
You got it. There he is. Appreciate him and the analytics. Very interesting, Clay Baker. Mm-hmm. He didn't love Klint Kubiak as a hire, and he said something, which is the devil sign to JT the Brick, handing it off on first and second down. He did the analysis. He said, yeah, it's a tendency to hand it off on first or second down. You know that I like to go 4 wide and attack, right?
I think he's always been known as an explosive guy for his offense, but at the same time, just remember, he only been there for 1 year. What if he was able to be with a team that he was able to mold in his own images and the way he wants to bring in certain guys he and Spytek will be on the same page for personnel? I think this will be a different look, so he can actually go and maximize the things he can do with Mendoza. And Sam was right. I mean, it's a very good fit for what a rookie quarterback will have in the league, having somebody like Kubiak to help him, especially improve numbers like the sack avoidance. Kubiak will definitely be able to hone in on that.
All right. So that's where we are. We got Mark Anderson from the AP, who's super sharp, one of the sharpest guys in town, on the future hiring of Klint Kubiak. And I handled this the right way. He is not the Raider head coach. He's perceived to be the Raider head coach after the Super Bowl. So we're going to assume that this is going to go together nicely. We're not Debbie Downer. We're not going to say, oh, my God, there could be a way that he backs out. No. Every NFL insider who wanted to break this story after Adam Schefter is saying that he's perceived to be the coach of the Raiders. We'll go with that. But it will be official next week. As I said, Big Boy Radio. We all know how this works. I'm looking to hear from Raider fans now. The show today, because we're not going to be taking a lot of calls this week. We're up in San Francisco, a lot of guests. Today, over a cup of coffee, we confirmed Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, Tim Brown, Rod Woodson, and Fred Biletnikoff. How's that for Raiders Radio? Those are all locked in different time slots. Some will be over the phone. Some will be live there. I got guests all over the place, from Jeff Garcia to other. Sean Merriman's going to join us. I talked to Warren Moon today. He got right back to me. Warren Moon's coming on. Anthony Munoz, a frequent guest for me. And, for 30 years, roughly 30 years, I've been up at Radio Row. I don't know of a harder grinder than me. I'd get there at 7, 8 in the morning, and I wouldn't leave till after my night show at 7, 8 at night. I used to keep track of how many guests I would book. It'd be like 40 by the end of the week, no more. I'm there to go have a good time, to give you a couple hours of radio and content. I'll be working for the Raiders on their YouTube channel. I'll be interviewing a couple of guests there, and we'll take your calls when they come in. But today is simple. I am wide open the rest of the show. 702-365-9200. What do you love about this hire of Kubiak? And again, the topic today is simple. Okay, it's a broad topic. Are you going to be more productive than you've been as a fan? That isn't a shot at 98% of you, so don't take this personal. I know there's going to be some Einstein that gets in my chat and says, don't tell me how to be a fan. No, I'll tell you whatever I want. In my show, my name's on it. You know how I am as a fan, okay? I'm a diehard fan, so I can judge other people. I had a guy on my show last night. We were talking about eras. You can't compare Babe Ruth to Barry Bonds. I can do whatever I want. We were comparing Paul George to James Worthy. I said, Paul George is a bum. He's making $51 million a year. Was he as good as James Worthy? Not even close. I can judge James Worthy to Paul George. And I can judge Raider fans who sometimes come into my world on my space and say stuff, and they've been using the downward trend of this team, win-loss wise, to make a name for themselves as a smear merchant. Oh, and in particular, it's just a little bucket of guys who now want to be a part of the good hires and want to tell you how great it is. So where are you as a fan? Are you saluting the Raider Nation today? Are you thanking Tom Brady for what assumes to be a great hire and getting this deal done? Are you on board with the team more than you've ever been? We'll see. Don't bother me. You know where to find me. I'm going to be at the torch with my hand in the air trying to hope the Raiders win every game. I'm not a rebuild guy. I'm not 3 years from now. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl next year, but this team has a chance to be really good quickly, much improved, and great. Not good, great in the next couple of years. So take advantage of that as we open up the show. Our coverage of Super Bowl 60 at Radio Row in San Francisco is brought to you by the DeCastroverde Law Group. How great is it? Alex in Orlando sending me to San Francisco to give you the best content available. If you get into an accident and get injured, the brothers win. TheBrothersWin.com. Go with the brothers.
It's unnecessary roughness.
Eric Williams.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Chris, hold on.
That's a good monologue. You know what I'm talking about. Are you a Raider fan, or are you going to be a Raider fan now who wants to do well? Tired of the fake Raider fans, Ernie says. You're going to see Tom Brady at the card signing. Can't wait. Tell him I said hello.
Official and exclusive floating Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always
Is Chris in West Oakland there?
get out of here.
Chris.
Yeah. Yep.
Football's most notorious fans. If you're a diehard Raider fan,
Yeah, calls after Mark.
remember today to receive 20% off online purchases, hotel discounts for home and away games, access to members-only merchandise, and much more. All memberships are now lifetime memberships. Once a member, always a member. If you bleed silver and black, visit theblackshole.com today. That's theblackshole.com.
All right. We got a lot of people in Facebook today. Could everybody take a moment, hit like? Hit like. We got 675 people. Hit like right now. I want to see the likes. Let's pound the like and please subscribe. Hydrate. Do you know this cup of coffee today, Clay, cost me I ordered a black coffee. Guess how much it was? You say $2. Okay. Clay Baker went first. This is a coffee bean black coffee large. Clay said $2. Throw it in the chat. How much you think it cost? If you get the exact number, I'll give you a prize. Clay was not close. No, for a black coffee, $6? No, not. This isn't a latte, everybody. This is a black coffee. A black coffee. No latte, no mocha, no frappuccino. Oh, there he is, DJ. DJ, big boy. Hold on, it's going so fast. I'm going to lose you. Oh, my God, the chat. You were right. Who said $4.95? Jason, grab the guy who said $4.95. So I don't bust balls. So the person who was serving me the coffee, I looked at him and I said, $4.95 for a black coffee? You know what the guy said? Quote, he goes, yeah, I can't believe it. Can't believe it. $4.95. Yeah, $5 wasn't the answer. $4.95 was. Jason, figure out who won the $4.95. So I was pretty surprised by that. Also, I bought a round of drinks, Clay, at the hockey game. I bought a round of drinks, $123. 123, 6 drinks. Excuse me.
My box.
Oh, my wife sees my credit card. So when we have a credit card fee, it pops up on our phones. And I'm buying $125 rounds at the hockey game. Golden Steer was amazing. I would say Golden Steer is top 3 steakhouse, top 5 restaurant in Vegas. because I like Italian, right? So I'm an Italian restaurant guy. Yeah, 123 and they lost. Lost to the Kraken.
On the road to a better next. Apply today at westar.org or stop by your nearest branch. All loans are subject to approval. Terms and conditions apply. Must be a member to borrow. Membership requires a savings account with a minimum balance.
It's official like a referee's whistle. Denny's is now open at Silver Sevens Hotel and Casino. Your diner favorites are here. And yes, you could use your casino points. Pancakes at midnight, burgers at dawn, coffee whenever. Denny's is open 24/7. No breaks, no excuses. Eat what you want, when you want, and keep the night going. Located just 1 mile from the Las Vegas Strip, Silver Sevens offers slots, table games, and a lively sports book. The new Denny's is now open inside Silver Sevens for food and fun.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Local 872, your workforce solution.
Can't talk about the game without talking about our quarterback. I mean, he just shut a lot of people up tonight, so I'm really happy for him. 300-something yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Every time they went and scored again, he came back.
I'll call you back.
It's a big-time throws on 3rd down, 2-minute drive, 4-minute drive. The guy barely practiced all week, you know. Just really happy for him. He deserves it. Just been a rock for us the whole year, so just really happy for him.
That's Mike McDonald on Sam Darnold, who's the quarterback. Is everybody excited about Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl? If you would have told me before the season Sam Darnold would be the quarterback of the Super Bowl, I'd say, wait a second. Wait a second. Why didn't we get Sam Darnold in Vegas? Why'd we get Geno? But Geno was Sam Darnold. They had similar numbers. They did. You don't like to say that when people bring up Geno's numbers. You like to forget Geno's numbers. No, Geno had numbers. That's why Geno got the job. He wasn't a bench player. He was a starter. 4,300 yards, 70%, and his game regressed. Why did his game regress? A lot of reasons. The offensive line was terrible. The offensive line coach really wasn't very good. A lot of injuries, and Geno kind of saw ghosts. Geno was looking at defenders and throwing the ball right to him. Chris in West Oakland, diehard Raider Nation. Hello, Chris.
Hey, JT, great monologue. Actually, I just snuck back into the locker room because I wanted to get in today about this Kubiak, hires, allegedly. I mean, we still, it still has to become official. But look, you brought up a great point about everybody being on board with this. Look, going back to Gruden, Antonio Pierce, Josh McDaniels, even Pete Carroll. There was valid reasons on both sides for the detractors, whether it's the retread, McDaniels not, being a good head coach before or after. There was legitimate reasons and arguments on both sides. I don't see a downside to this right now, other than, listen to the guy that looked at it more like a science project than a football hire. All due respect to him, I think Kubiak checks all the boxes. He's a bright, young mind. I don't know enough about his personality. I've never really heard him talk. I'll take the Raiders' word for it that they trust this guy enough that they're going to hire him. But they've got, we're halfway there to the coach-quarterback combination. And I disagree with one thing you said earlier about, like age shaming. I don't believe age can affect – you can still be a good coach at 75. But for the Raiders right now, the idea to me is the next 10 or 15 years to have Mendoza and Kubiak together. I don't think a guy like Carroll's going to coach until 90. That's why I lean towards the younger guy. Not that the older guy can't coach, but I just think in a great world right now, JT, it's a roll of the dice, but it checks all the boxes. And for the first time in a long time, I don't know how any Raider fan cannot get behind this hire. Now we go out and draft Mendoza, and it's like you said, two things can be true. Yeah, the Raiders need to rebuild, but it's not a 3 and a 4 year process like it used to be. And you look at all 4 quarterbacks that were in the conference title games this year, and including Bo Nix, who was hurt. He didn't start. They all were first-round picks, very high draft picks, and they all played their rookie year. Look at Jaden Daniels last year, Caleb Williams this year. Jordan, these guys all play young. They all get again, you can, which what I'm basically trying to say, JT, is you can improve in a year. Yeah, do I expect the Raiders to be in the AFC Championship game next year? No. But I do think they can compete. Let's get to 500 players. But the year after, you look at the trends in the NFL, absolutely this team can be a prime contender by 2020, by 2027 if they get things right. They've got the money. We've got the coach. Let's go get the quarterback. And as you said, I really challenge anybody to get on here. Give me the downside to hiring this guy. I just want to hear it. The only thing you can say is he's never been a head coach before.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of proof recently that guys that have never been coaches before come in and they succeed right away. So, again, as you said, I want to hear somebody get on here. Give me one valid reason why this isn't a great hire and somebody this team can finally get behind, the entire fan base, that is. Anyway, man, safe travels. You're looking at upper 60s to low 70s all week in the Bay Area with glorious blue California sunshine. Hopefully we can hook up in the next, later in the week when you get here. And safe travels, my friend. Thanks for letting me get
You
in.
got it. I appreciate it, Chris. He's right. Chris is a diehard Raider fan. Diehard. He's behind the hire. Right? Chris is a simple guy. Been a friend of mine for a long time. He's behind the hire. Why wouldn't he be? He's a Raider fan who wants to win. Mark Anderson joins us from the AP. And Mark, assuming this all becomes official next week, tell me what you think about the potential hire of Klint Kubiak and how the Raiders went about trying to close him for the job.
Going into the whole process, this is actually not Kubiak necessarily himself, but just kind of what he represents is exactly what I had in mind is who they should go after. A younger coach, an offensive-minded coach, someone who could really work with Fernando Mendoza. I know there's concern that he hasn't really worked with young quarterbacks well, but I just don't think the sample size is way too small for that. So I think it's a real positive for them. The Raiders should feel good about themselves. The Raiders fans should feel really good about things right now. That doesn't mean it's going to work out. We really don't know. But I can't fault the Raiders for this process. I like that they took their time. I like that they really went about this in a methodical way, and I think they did really well. I have no arguments against him. I think this is about as well as you could do.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, if they would have lost him, if he didn't give the indication that he wanted the job, I think they would have had to move on to LaFleur, who Arizona got, or another young offensive play caller. But they wanted to get the hire mark right in the past also, but it's been complicated. No Ben Johnson, Pete Carroll's legacy is a really good one, so that made sense. John Gruden initially coming to Vegas made a lot of sense. Josh McDaniels at the time made a little bit of sense, but not a lot of sense because he was a failed head coach beforehand, but a great coordinator. He's coordinating in the Super Bowl. But I think what the fans got to understand now is this guy's going to go to work, and I don't think he's going to be that rah-rah press conference guy like Antonio Pierce. He's going to be really focused on the organization, but the offensive side of the meetings, trying to get this offense back on track.
Yeah, if I'm a Raiders fan, I don't care if he wins the press conference. That's really irrelevant. He's got to do everything else right. And I do say, though, that press conference. I mean, I'm really curious to see what he says about his approach to building the talent around Mendoza. I don't know that he's really going to talk about Mendoza because they don't want to tip their hand too much about what they're going to do with the draft. But it's apparent that's where they're heading. So, but you've got to get an offensive line. I think that's what I'm curious. How is he going to go about getting an offensive line? You need to go get another receiver too. And you do that, you give Mendoza a fighting chance. He's a rookie so he's not getting killed every game. And you give him a chance to develop, and you hope that by the end of the season he's much better than he was at the beginning of the year, and you see noticeable improvement. And you see a real plan. So that's what I want to say. And obviously they got to do some things on defense too, but I guess I'm more concerned about what they do on offense at this point.
Mark Anderson's our guest. Mark, I think it's really important that the coaching staff gets built out properly. Excuse me. I think they have to nail it from the offensive line to the coaches that he's known over the years. What do you expect him to do? Because a lot of good coaches have been hired already, but he's clearly going to take some from Seattle.
Yeah, I think he will too. Yeah, I don't really know specifically who he might go after for offensive coordinator. I think it's going to be his offense. So I think it's going to be sort of like what you've seen maybe in San Francisco, where no matter who the OC is, it's Shanahan's offense. So that's my suspicion. It's going to be his offense. The defensive coordinator, I am really curious about which direction he goes there, and there's some good ones. I mean, so I they interviewed Everett twice. Would he make the move from Carolina? I don't know, but maybe if you give him, that I could see him going that kind of direction. But but that to me is the big hire. Who's going to be a defensive coordinator?
So where do you think the attention will go after the hire becomes official? Will all the energy go to the offensive line on how important it is? Because I can't tell you everybody on Seattle's offensive line, but they do a nice job. They're in the Super Bowl, and they have great run game principles. So as we dive into what Kubiak did in New Orleans when Derek Carr started off 4-0, the connections through San Francisco, where he's been with his dad in the past, I think he's going to be a run-first guy to set up the pass, but he's got a player in Brock Bowers now that I've read a couple of articles can kind of get him open at the line of scrimmage. I can't believe Chip Kelly couldn't do a better job. For Chip's defense, Brock got hurt in the first game. He was never the same. So Chip Kelly didn't have him. We're going to see Kubiak with a healthy Brock Bowers, who I think he's going to put him in motion and line him up all over the field. Is that fair?
I think it's right, and Chip Kelly. I think he and Pete Carroll just weren't on the same page. I think that was where a lot of problems with Pete. He wanted to do one thing, and Chip Kelly wanted to do another. And I think that, of course, like you said, the Bowers injury just really hurt them a lot. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the way you use them, and I do think the offensive line's got to be the number one priority now. I think you could get a couple linemen in free agency. You could obviously go to the draft and get some linemen there. And you just got to give them a chance. I mean, we can't have what happened this past season with Geno Smith, where he just had no time to throw. You got to give Fernando Mendoza a chance, and because you don't want to ruin his confidence right away. And I don't know that a bad line would necessarily do that, because I think this kid's pretty tough. Because he comes across as kind of a nerd, but you've seen how physical he is in games. The national championship game, how bruised up he was, and how willing he's put his body on the line. And I think it was the Ohio State game before that he took a big shot right away, and looked how he made it done, and came back and played the rest of the game. So this is a tough kid. So I think that's the kind of mindset you want.
Mark, the last question. You're a journalist, but you know this market really well. Do you think that this is a coach that the Raider Nation will be galvanized to? Because a lot of these coaches took a lot of heat from the fans because they couldn't win, but they were good guys, but that didn't matter. Fans were upset, and really upset, because of the track record of all these coaches that got fired. This guy gets a clean slate. Do you believe that the city and this fan base will react to this in a positive way?
I think so, because I think, as you mentioned, the other coaches like McDaniels, as you mentioned, didn't do well in Denver. I think there were a large part of the fan base was already skeptical about him on that. Antonio Pierce had a good final half of the season, but I think there was a lot of concern about how good a coach is he really. And then Pete Carroll, there was concern, frankly, about his age, and it did not end well in Seattle for him. And the fact that Seattle sits down in the Super Bowl, I think, makes it look even worse. So I think going into those situations, fans already had good reason to have their concerns. Obviously, you can pick apart things at Klint Kubiak too. But I think, generally speaking, fans will give them a little bit more of a pass. Now, in 2 years, that they're winning 6 games, that's different. But going into it right now, I think he will get more of a. I think this is more of the coach they're looking for, and I think most fans realize this isn't going to be a quick turnaround. But if they see some improvement, they see 6 or 7 wins this season, I think most people will take that.
Thank you, Mark. Always appreciate you. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Thanks.
Sounds good, JT. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. Mark Anderson, the great journalist here in Las Vegas. It's a big topic for me today, Clay, because all of the other coaches were famous other than Bisaccia before they got the job. Everybody was like, okay, I heard of John Gruden. I heard of Josh McDaniels. I know Antonio Pierce. He won a Super Bowl with the Giants as a player. A lot of Raider fans don't know Klint Kubiak, and I think the way they should get to know him is just let him do his thing. Let him go away and work and put this thing together properly.
Yeah, in fact, that's kind of good. You have no preconceived notions of how this is supposed to look like or anything to really compare it to. So let yourself be open to how this is going to go, because this is one that's very unique for Raider history in the last 25 years, for this thing to be that tore down to the studs to be rebuilt the way it's going to be. Trust the vision and trust what's in the building.
All right, I see everybody on hold. I'll get to you next. Then we'll take calls through the next hour. No more guests today. I wanted to open it up for the assumption that Klint Kubiak will be announced as the head coach next week. I don't know if it's going to be Monday, Tuesday. I have no idea. They'll let us know, and I'll let you know when we find out. But a good day for the Raider Nation, as we are brought to you by Finley Volvo, Las Vegas, proud partner there. When I go there, you walk into the showroom, you see all their vehicles. It's not complicated. If you want safety, if you want service, if you want a beautiful vehicle, beautiful, safe vehicle, you go to Finley Volvo, Las Vegas. Mike will put you in a deal. A lease, if you want to buy, that's what it's about. But you got to get there off the 215 and Rainbow and walk in and see it. And once you see it, I think you'll come out of there saying, I want one of these cars. Because Mike's going to get us a great deal. He's proud partners of Raider Nation Radio, and he's helping us get up to San Francisco for the Super Bowl. I'm going to thank all of our partners, because without them, I think I'd be up there, but I wouldn't be up there this way, the way we're doing it correctly. We'll be live tomorrow from Radio Row at the Moscone Center. Q Myers is there live today on your flagship, Raider Nation Radio.
Experience Paul's biggest day, Mike.
All right, let's hydrate quickly.
Guys, we're going to calls next. Thank you. Look, you guys experience our yourself next.
Serve yourself out of the sun at circalasvegas.com. The cold weather here simplified heating and cooling, ready to keep warm this season. You deliver complete solutions for heating and cooling systems, specializing in diagnosing issues and restoring performance. From routine maintenance to emergency breakdowns, they provide fast, reliable HVAC repair to keep your home comfortable. Schedule your 1775 for today. Better known and proud, Simplify is your trusted source for heating and plumbing needs. Visit SimplifyHeating.com today for full details. Simplify Heating and Cooling, service with honor, comfort, and convenience.
This is JT for Las Vegas's premier cigar lounge, La Casa Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village. You're going to be blown away like I was when I stepped into their walk-in humidor. Over 500 cigar labels to choose from. Plus, they feature one of the largest whiskey, scotch, bourbon selections anywhere in the valley, with live local entertainment 7 nights a week. Great place to watch football games. Check it out at lacasacigars.com.
Hey, Jeff, how's the new job working out?
It really sucks. Terrible boss, and the paycheck is even worse. I gotta get a new job.
Truck you.
Wait, what?
Truck you.
You don't have to curse at me.
Dude, you should check out Truck You CDL training. My brother got his CDL license in 4 weeks, and now he has a new career making great money.
Okay, I'm listening.
Truck You offers small classes with night and weekend times available. They will even help with payment programs. Check them out. Truck, the letter U, LV.com. Truck You. The Vegas Golden Knights are rolling through another ended season. Grab an ice cold cheer on your nights on the ice. It's on Seltzer. It's Surfside, official partner of the Vegas Golden Knights.
All right.
Everyone, please drink responsibly.
All right, we got a Mad Dog show tonight from 8 to 11. Tomorrow night, Mad Dog from San Francisco, 8 to 11. And then that's about it.
Yes. When you are injured, knowing that someone has your
Fish McCaffrey on Kubiak coming back with that.
Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on.
from our father to our family to the expert legal team at Castro Verde. We founded this for you. We're the Castro Verde brothers, and we got your back.
.com.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
The Las Vegas Raiders are finalizing a deal with your former offensive coordinator, Klint Kubiak. And what would you tell Raider fans about Klint Kubiak? What should they expect from their new head coach?
Clint's amazing, man. You know, I got a little bit of time with him, and the whole Kubiak family. You know, we had Clint, we got Clay now, and it's a special family. And it's you know, he's somebody that's poised, he's under control, but he's a killer, man. And it was just
fun to be able to spend a couple years with him, and he deserves all of it. It's so pumped for him.
That's Christian McCaffrey talking to Kirk Morrison, our teammate here on the Raiders broadcast, who also works on NFL radio for Sirius XM. So people are excited today. It's not official. It is not official with the Raiders. It's not official, but the Raiders got their guy. And I think everybody in Raider Nation is pretty happy about it, including Raider Reggie checking in North Las Vegas. What's up, Reggie?
Hey, what's going on, my friend? Hey, look at this. This is something I wrote down right after they made the announcement about firing Pete Carroll. Much love to Pete Carroll. I always looked up to him as a really good coach. We just got him at the wrong part of his career, and I wish him the best. But I wrote these 5 things down. I said they need to hire their guy, no matter who else other people believe they should get. They need to hire their guy. Draft Mendoza. Don't play no games and make it complicated. Keep it simple and draft Mendoza. Make sure that they align the staff that they're putting together with the head coach to all be on the same page, because we saw what everybody saw is they were not on the same page this last season. And in free agency, load up on that O-line. Make sure you go pay the money you got to pay to get that O-line right, so you don't come in here looking foolish with this new quarterback. And whoever's the quarterback, you got to have the O-line ready. You got to have the O-line ready for Genty. So we pray that they do that right. And then the other thing is just on overall draft. Have a solid draft this year. And I think they accomplished so far. We remain undefeated in 2026. Since we beat them Chiefs, we landed the hire that I believe is their guy, and we also got that number 1 overall draft pick. So with them kind of things going on after this weekend, and I want to shout out my guy Big Al, man. He had to call me a couple of times and keep me calm because I was getting frustrated because I was nervous. You know, if they don't hit the guy that they were going after, you know what I mean? Like, they might have a fallback, they might have somebody else in mind, but you see what happened to us last year, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Al for that. And then this feels like a foundational nucleus now. You know, you got 5.
Reggie, I gotta go. I gotta go. I got a heart out. You're happy about the deal. We're happy that you're happy because you're the perfect Raider fan. You are always energetic. You want to win, and you're a positive Raider fan. Keep it up, my brother.
Let's go, brother.
Yeah, Raider Reggie in North Las Vegas. Sits right next to me with Fabian at most of the games. And he's productive. He's positive. Hour number 1 brought to you by Click Hospitality. They had a great event at 8 Cigar Lounge with Terry Bradshaw, the legendary Fox broadcaster, the Steelers Hall of Fame quarterback. Beautiful event. From the best experiences you could have, what they were serving, the beautiful pairings of cigars, and Terry Bradshaw speaking and being accessible to everybody who was there. Great job by everybody. Terry Bradshaw showing up at 8 Cigar Lounge with our proud partner, Click Hospitality. Way to go. Those are the type of elegant events you want to be a part of, and we appreciate that proud partnership here on the flagship Raider Nation Radio. When we come back, hour number 2, just me and you. We're going to rip the roof off with another mini monologue and get you going again. Raider Nation, this should be a good day for you. All week should be great because the Raiders still own the Bay Area. I mean, the Niners, come on, Niners are a hell of a team. Hell of a team. But there is Raider Nation embedded everywhere from the East Bay to the South Bay and in downtown San Francisco. We're coming. All right. Who hasn't subscribed? Who hasn't clicked like? Let's go. We got a big crowd. 400 YouTubers in there. Whoa. We might have something going here. We got to get to 10,000 subs. And those who say, JT, don't have 40,000 subs. No, a lot of them are fake. We have real people. Look at the numbers. Real people. No bots. No bots. Real human beings. Real people. Very important.
Casino partner, the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Casinos across the valley. Don't let the game.
Yes, we got calls. People are excited.
Thinking about getting a new truck? Now's the time. Got huge incentives on the powerful Toyota Tundra and Tacoma. These trucks are built to handle anything you throw at them. With these deals, they're more affordable than ever. But these offers won't last. Come see us at Finley Toyota before they're gone. Make sure you drive off in the truck you always wanted at the price you deserve.
Yeah, I'm staying down at Fisherman's Wharf.
The Mole in Henderson. This is JT the Brick from Raider Nation Radio for MRIDE, the preferred shuttle provider of Allegiant Stadium.
JT, if the Raiders throw a curveball and don't go with Mendoza, stop. They're going with Mendoza. I'm not even reading that bullshit. I'm not reading the curveball. If they do a curveball, it's going to be a big deal. All right, so I'm not doing that. Why would I be here doing what if we don't get Mendoza bullshit? Why would I do that? I'm not doing that.
Resorts World Las Vegas, luxury in its finest.
I'm a fan of keeping Max Crosby, right, Max, and I'm a fan of Mendoza. That's it. I like the coach hire. I like the coach hire. I told you a month ago this is where they were going, and we're pretty good.
And tickets for the big game theme park are on sale.
And most of us don't know a lot about Kubiak. Don't know much at all. We'll find out next week. The Raiders are going to pump out a lot. Why doesn't Fisherman's Wharf, Snow Raider, look like I used to remember it? Pier 39, the seals, the looking out at Tiburon, Skomas, Girardelli's. How different can Fisherman's Wharf look? How different can it look? The homeless get pushed out at every Super Bowl. I want the homeless to be protected and have shelter and food. But believe me, San Francisco knows how they want that city to look for the Super Bowl. I would assume a lot of things are going to look a little bit different this week. Big D says a lot of closed stores and storefronts. Yeah, that problem's happening in California from Santa Monica. Yeah.
It's got to be clean. It's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading market liquid detergent.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Never miss another show. Streams live. Listen to us. This is Raider Nation Radio 920 AM. ARL Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
Obviously it means a lot to me being a part of Silver and Black alone. The history, said it a million times. I feel like I was meant to be a Raider. I love being here.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
It's amazing, opportunity, great community here, and great fan base. So I'm expecting a lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of great times.
It's going to be all about competition. There's going to be no easy games in our division.
And now here's JT the Brick.
All right, JT, back with you on my way to San Francisco early tomorrow morning, man. Like real early. Flying into SFO. I don't think I've flown into SFO in a decade. I'm an Oakland guy. Real men take BART. But I didn't have time to take BART from Oakland to get all the way to the Moscone Center with luggage. So I'll be there tomorrow. I'm excited about it. Should be a lot of fun. It's a work trip. But I'm not looking to break the records that I set for decades. At one time at Fox Sports Radio, that the bosses, Clay, got mad at me one year. I was there at like 7 in the morning, and my show was on at like 5 at night. And they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm here to interview Emmitt Smith and Jim Brown, people you can't get on the radio. You can't get them on the network. I'm here to interview them. And they're like, ooh, we don't want to have that many good people on. Hell with you. Hell with you. Okay, now we do it the right way, but you don't want to overdo it with guests, but this Clay kind of is the week. You overdo it with guests. You put people on, they're selling stuff, you try to have fun with them, and you try to talk sports.
Yeah, it's always about building relationships too, because you might interview Emmitt Smith, but then again, you might be friends a little bit down the road. Next time you get a chance to see him, and next thing you know, you build something that is good for next time.
Yeah, and a lot of people play hardball this time of year. The people say, well, we don't know if we can fit you in. Oh, really? Okay, I know you want to take them to McAfee and you want to take them over to Dan Patrick off campus. My favorite thing this time of year is when radio shows don't want to be on Radio Row. You got a couple of radio stations around the country that are too cool to go to Radio Row. They're too cool to go where all the radio shows are. They're going to stay back in LA, or they're going to stay in another market because they don't want to go. National radio guy doesn't want to go to the Super Bowl, wants to stay in LA. Really? You're real connected with your audience. We go up there to have fun. Q's up there now. He says it's really set up nice. And you'll hear him coming up here in an hour. And Q will be live. And Vinny was live today, and he'll be there all week. And we'll probably have some really good guests on. And also the Raiders YouTube channel. Go to the Raiders YouTube. They're setting up a lot of really interesting interviews, and I'll be a part of a few of them. I'm excited about that. In regards to parties, concerts, I'm going to see some live music, which I'm excited about. A couple of parties there. The Ditka Cigar Party is one of the best parties you can go to. I love a cigar. I love that event. Shannon Sharp's party. I'll be on up at that one. That's always a good time, too, and a couple other ones before I head up to the Grattan Casino in Roanoke Park to host the weekend up there. I'll be the MC for an event with Bill Romanowski, which will be great. Charles Haley, the only person to win 5 Super Bowls. Rod Woodson, top 20 player all time, and Marcus Allen. We're all going to be in a casino for 3 days. Never been to the casino. Anybody knows about it, let me know. Romo Cop. Yeah, Romo's going to be up there too. So we're going to be having a good time. So I'm excited. Big D says, I'm excited about the hire and looking forward to seeing him fill out his staff. And if you missed my opening monologue, yeah, Grattan Creighton Casino. Yeah, I've never been there. Been to a lot of casinos. Haven't been to this one. So if you missed the opening monologue, and I'd love to hear from you now, hours open. We're wide open for free. Here, we want to get you up on YouTube. We got a big crowd on YouTube today. Man, really excited what we built in a little over a year here. We didn't pay attention to it. Now we are. And you can watch the show live from Radio Row. We'll have our guest on a camera up there at JT the Brick YT on YouTube. All I said is that I hope this is a galvanizing moment for Raider fans. I hope the Raider fans, and a lot of Raider fans have been edgy. I've been edgy. There's been a tremendous amount of people who are not on the same page with the recent coaching hires. Understandably right. Understandably right. And it's been easy, very easy to criticize the coaches and the GM and the owner when the team isn't winning. Very easy to do that. But now I think you can see that Mark Davis and Tom Brady and John Spytek are trying to do everything correct for you to try to give you a better product. And that's all you can ask. Because there's only one team that's going to win. One team's going to win. Also today it was announced that there'll be a national game being played in Madrid, games overseas. Could the Raiders end up playing New Orleans as the road team in Paris? We'll wait for that. We'll see what happens. I hope so. I hope the Raiders play in Madrid or Paris or London, again, as a road game. I have no problem with that. I love that. I love when the Raiders play internationally because the Raiders have a big fan base. And Clay, as you talked about it this morning, when you see the number of games that are going to be played, wow, do you think this is too much for the NFL? I mean, the amount of games they're playing outside America is now a really big number.
It is, but it has to grow its market. When you're making $25 billion annually, you're a company that needs to go into markets that haven't been saturated already. And that trip to Australia, Melbourne, that's a big one. But the relationship you've built in Germany, that can go a long way because there are humongous Raider fan sects in Germany, from Munich to Berlin. It's astounding how much Raider Nation is out globally, and they will follow that. And maybe you start finding the fans, but also finding young players who watch this early on and then get inspired by Raider football.
Yeah, I think it's important. You know, Raiders are participating whatever the NFL does. If it's a game every couple of years in Paris or a game every couple of years in London, save some money if you can, and try to get there and bring some Raider gear and go check out something new. But we have a great experience building, hopefully. And one of the other big storylines today is, will Klint Kubiak be the coach who can change the culture in Allegiant Stadium and stop getting fans to sell their tickets because the team's playing better? Hope so. It's been a long time. Lines are open at 702-365-9200 if you want to get in. Today's an important day. It'll be bigger next week when the coach is formally announced. Isaac in Fresno. Thanks for being patient. Go ahead.
Happy Mendoza Monday there, JT.
Yes.
Excellent monologue, and looking forward to the excellent lineup you have this week. Hey, man, I'm a bricklayer, and we're just laying the foundation here with this hire from Kubiak, one brick at a time, man. This is huge. I think we're going to look back at the end of 2025 and 26 is when the organization changed. And but you're right. It's time to form Voltron. We have to unite behind this organization, and we need to show up to the games and give ourselves a home field advantage. And let's be honest, we have some fans, no love lost, no loyalty, so quick to turn on our team. When something goes wrong, we can't have that. We got to exercise some patience with this. You know, just because we wear the same colors doesn't mean we're cut from the same cloth. There's real jerseys and there's the cheap ones. You know, I'm talking to the real of the real. Kubiak is a great hire. Everybody should get behind us, but we got to understand he's going to make some mistakes, and we can't jump all over him. You know, we just landed Bowers, Genty. We're assuming Mendoza here. That could set us up on a real run here. But we got to remember, Jimmy Johnson, Michael Irvin, and Troy Aikman went 1-15 their first year together. So we have to have some patience here in Raider Nation. And I think the other thing is Tom Brady. We can't underestimate what this guy has meant here. You know, I don't know if it was Tom Brady, but all of a sudden, you know, we don't have so many penalties getting close, on us. But he's a closer. He's attracting the best of the best. And we really have a chance to push ourselves as a first-class organization. I'm right there with you, JT. All the pieces of the puzzle are there, and I think it's going to be excellent. One thing here, Tyler Linderbaum is the name that I want to hear us talk. Hear free agency. That'll get Mendoza a nice debut. We're assuming that. But the thing with quarterback, we're assuming it's Mendoza. I would like to see what's your view, under 30 or over 30 passes a game for Mendoza during his rookie year?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mendoza, if Mendoza comes in as the quarterback, as we expect, and he starts, because you got to start the number one pick. Everybody get that, right? Like if he was picked number 7 or he was 12 or 13 like Bo Nix, you don't have to play him. You can sit him, Clay, for 6, 7 games. You're going to take him number 1, you got to play him, period. And maybe you don't play him. You have to play him. And then I think with Mendoza getting the ball out quickly under Kubiak, and handing off the ball aggressively to Ashton Genty with the new offensive line, Clay, makes the most sense to me because you can't have him hold on to the ball in his rookie year or he'll get killed back there.
Yeah, and the way Kubiak was able to influence the Seahawks, they went from the 29th rated team in 2024 in rushing yards to number 10. So they're going to run the ball.
Yeah, we got Ashton Genty to run the ball. The question is, I was talking to Frank Hawkins at the Tom Flores event, which had a technical glitch here in Vegas. But for everybody who participated in the Tom Flores viewing party, we got a chance to see Coach in his home. I was with a lot of Raider alumni on Saturday. Napoleon McCallum, Frank Hawkins, Reggie Kinlaw. You know, I was looking around at all the alumni that were there who were hanging out. Leo Gray, good guys, friends of mine for a long time. Many of them talked about a fullback. They're like we got to get a fullback in here. You got to have someone block for Ashton Genty. But the problem is when you have a fullback, you have one less receiver. And that's been a problem. So I think Kubiak has got to be excited about having Genty and Bowers. And I think the Raiders are going to develop Jack Besh better. If you're Jack Besh today, Jack Besh, wherever you are, I'm calling Jack Besh. Jack Besh has got to be thrilled to know that he's got Klint Kubiak. And let's turn Jack Besh into a slot receiver, possession receiver. And then I looked at the free agent wide receivers. There aren't many. There's not a lot of free agent A-list guys. There's no Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson in a trade. You'd have to give up a lot to make that deal. So we're going to see. We're going to see what he thinks about coming in. There are a couple of receivers that could be a nice fit here, but looking for an elite number 1, there isn't an elite number 1 really available. Now let's get out to the Hammer from New Jersey on the Raiders mobile app.
JT, first time in a long time, and what a time to be alive as a Raider fan right now. Am I right?
Yes.
Look, a lot of great things to look forward to right now. We don't need to be dwelling on the past anymore. Talking about Kubiak before, it's definitely going to be a great hire. He worked his way up through the coaching tree the correct way. Went from being a receivers coach, being an offensive quality coach, to being an offensive assistant, to a QB's coach, to coordinator the last couple of years. I've had questions about who is Kubiak's crew going to be moving forward. But one guy I'm looking at more than anything, the one thing we need to address is that offensive line, and that's John Benton. He's been with him the last 2 years. He was with him in New Orleans, with him now, and we see what the run game has been. I really do believe that scheme focus for them is going to be that outside zone run game and a lot of play action with Mendoza. It's be the same system that made Sam Darnold look like an MVP this year. Defensively, there's a lot of different names to be thrown out there. One guy I'm going to be looking at really hard right now is Jim Schwartz. Veteran head coach of the defense. I think it makes the most sense in the world. We have the weapons in place. Continue to build through free agency, build through this draft. Sky's the limit for this team right now. I salute to my guys at Fieldmore, Graphic, and Wasted as well. Much love to you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. I don't know who they're hiring as the DC. Schwartz is a big name out there. He's not happy with Cleveland. He's under contract with Cleveland. If Kubiak ends up coming in here and he wants to bring in a defensive coach from Seattle and make him the defensive coordinator, I wouldn't hate that. Patrick Graham was a really good coordinator when he had better players. Patrick Graham had to start 2 rookie corners. I don't think that Klint Kubiak is going to want to start Caillou Blue Kelly and Darian Porter on both sides next year. Not saying that those guys won't play and be a big part of the team, and they're good developmental players, very good. But we need better corners. You got to get better corners. You got to get an offensive line. And as I told everybody, and I'm not saying today, look at me, I got it right with Kubiak, but for a month I told you, mellow out. We're going after Kubiak. Right here in this seat. For a month. I said, hey, they're going after Kubiak. Calm down. They got Kubiak. But it's not official yet. It'll be official next week, hopefully. And then we'll see. He'll put together a pretty good coaching staff because John Spytek and Tom Brady are very connected with coaches who are looking to make a name as coordinators. Michael's in Hawaii. Aloha, Michael. How are you?
Aloha, JT. Real quick, you have a great show and great callers today. So they made a lot of points I was going to make. A couple quick things. I just got back from Maui on Saturday. Beautiful over there. I hope you get a rented car. Go check out Honolulu Bay. Drive past the coastline. It's magnificent, no matter how many times you've been there. Second of all, I've been a Raiders fan since a young kid. Earliest memory was watching the Raiders beat the Redskins. And I have pretty good Raider instinct going through all these years. And you just made a great point. Another caller touched on it. It's really time for us to come together. I have a great feeling about the way things are lining up, the way we got the #1 draft pick, the way we got Kubiak. And I think Brady mentioned on the interview when he was asked about Mendoza, and he said, look, you got to have a support staff around, your player, your quarterback. And I think that's what we just did with Kubiak. And we already have Ashton Dempsey, Brock Bowers. We have already some great pieces to build on. And then last year's draft class, it's almost like we're getting 2 drafts in one because we didn't really optimize last year's draft class for whatever reason, not pointing fingers, but we didn't optimize it. So we go into this next year with 10 picks, plus I said the last call, complimentary picks we're going to be getting. We have a great opportunity this next year. And I think this is going to be an exciting year. And I don't think it's a time for Raider fans to be negative about, Mendoza or, Kubiak. I think it's a great time for us to be excited and for us to come together. So I just have a great feeling. And last thing, you mentioned fullback. I'd love to see J.J. McGee get some time at fullback. Anyways, I'll leave it to you.
J.J. McGee is not going to be our fullback. It's a nice gimmick. It's a nice when he can block at the goal line. I'm all for that. But this is going to be really tied up nicely in regards to the scheme. Let me just say this quickly before we come back. What I'm looking to see, and I don't know exactly, I don't have a deep dive into Kubiak's playbook, but what I'd like to see is a faster, more efficient offense. That's all. Just faster, more efficient. Get out of the huddle quicker. Run the plays that work in Henderson. Are you getting sick of me saying that? Because they don't do that. The former regimes got fired because they couldn't run the plays that they ran at practice. They couldn't. I was there. I was at practice. They couldn't run those plays. You know why? Because they're doing it in a walkthrough in shorts. They're in shorts. And they're kind of walking and doing this, and you come behind me and we're walking because you don't get a lot of practice. But when they do put on pads and they do get outside and they're in pads, run the plays that are the best plays that Kubiak has that he's brought from his dad. And he learned from Kyle Shanahan. And he's learned from John Elway, right? The best plays, and just run them. And run them with a purpose. That's it. That's all I want to see. It's faster, more intense football. When we come back, my conversation with Jason McCourty, pretty big guest I had on right after this announcement. So he joined me yesterday. I did 4 hours yesterday morning. Oh, God, look, I'm not putting out forest fires. I'm not climbing on electrical towers after a snowstorm. But, man, I picked up a 4-hour shift yesterday after going to the Golden Knights game Saturday night. My wife I came out of the room doing the 4 hours. She's like, that was a hell of a shift. I go, yeah. I'm 60 years old and I'm picking up 12-hour shifts. What am I doing? What am I doing? But the voice will be ready for tomorrow from San Francisco. Going to Original Joe's. Going to a lot of cool spots up there. My go-to spots. Bimbo's, one of the best live music venues out there, which one of my buddies run. And then some cool events at my favorite spot in all of San Francisco, the Fillmore. We are brought to you by Modelo, the fighting spirit of Modelo. Hey, I want to thank our partners at Modelo. Everybody behind the scenes there, one of the best run brands in all of sports, as they send me back to the Super Bowl again. Modelo, proud partner of our Super Bowl 60 coverage from the Moscone Center and Super Bowl Radio Row. All right, we're going to do one more segment. I'm going to replay an interview we had yesterday. I think it's pretty good, and then we'll duck out of here in a minute.
To me, it's a perfect summation of the type of player you're getting in Fernando Mendoza. Is it clean? No. Is it absolutely perfect? No. Is it effective? Hell yeah. Did he get in the end zone? Yeah. Did he make the right decision? Yeah. And I think that for the Raiders is why there should be oozing excitement heading into April.
The Morning Tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black.
The numbers are good today, man. Look at those numbers.
Responsibly. Chick-T Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Only at Grimaldi's can you get their famous New York-style coal-fired brick oven pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at grimaldispizzeria.com.
Staying safe starts with awareness. Stay aware of your surroundings. If you notice
Modelo.
that could be an unexpected bag, someone acting out of place.
All right, Clay, can I hear the throw?
Spaces
are Super Bowl champion who happens to be a great analyst for CBS Sports. Jason McCourty's coming up to join us. And Jason, thanks a lot for doing this. Before I get to the Super Bowl, I wanted to get your opinion first on the coaching news today. Reportedly, the Raiders will start getting Klint Kubiak. You think that's a really good fit because they're probably going to get Fernando Mendoza?
If you see something, say something. For more information and resources, visit oem.nv.gov. This message is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Nevada Office of Emergency Management, Homeland Security, and your local emergency manager's office. Aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association, this station.
All right.
That's JT for the local 872, proud partners of Raider Nation Radio, led by Tommy White, building the city on time and on budget. Go to local872.com to find out about apprenticeships, career paths, all the public work zones, and the schedules happening here in our valley. I'm proud to be associated with the 872, proud partners of my show and Raider Nation Radio.
8 Lounge in Resorts World, Las Vegas. Luxury at its finest, with plush seating, upscale vibe, and an extensive collection of the greatest whiskeys and spirits. 8 Lounge is the perfect spot for taking in the game with your favorite cigar. You can bring your own sticks, or step into 8's humidor with over 250 of the best cigars from around the world to choose from. And tickets for the big game viewing party are on sale now. Reserve your spot at 8loungelv.com.
JT the Brick for Finley Volvo Las Vegas, reminding you can lease a new 2025 Volvo EX90 full electric with 3-row seating and get $8,500 in a lease allowance, or get 0 APR financing. Or how about leasing a new 2026 Volvo EX30 fully electric SUV and get $7,500 in a lease allowance, 1.9 APR financing at Finley Volvo Las Vegas.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything.
Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on.
From our father to our family to the expert legal team at DeCastro-Verde, we founded this firm for you. We're the DeCastro-Verde brothers,
and we have your back.
BrothersWin.com. Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Only at Grimaldi's can you get their famous New York style coal-fired brick oven pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at Grimaldi'sPizzeria.com.
The big game is set, and William Hill is your home for betting the Seattle-New England matchup on Sunday, February 8th. William Hill Sportsbook offers more than 1,000 ways to bet the game, including player props.
Some guy just said the show sucked, but now he's banned for life. How cool is that? Little trolls. I love taking out the little gutless trolls. Love taking them out.
Sponsor NFL. Family problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. For the Super Bowl this year, get the team choices on where to listen. And as the Seattle Seahawks are taking on the New England Patriots on February.
Oh, Bricktator. Oh, there's the Bricktator.
The game on.
Oh, there's the Bricktator. Look at the Bricktator banning people, banning gutless trolls one at a time.
But no, we've got you covered for the game. The pregame. So enjoy the game, enjoy Las Vegas, and thanks for listening.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCastro-Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
A 3rd down and 3 at the Rams 13. Out of the shotgun, here comes the 4-man Rams rush. Sam steps up, throws back inside. Come, make the catch! Touchdown! Seahawks! The former Ram Super Bowl MVP. Now the Seahawks, and he has another big catch. 13 yards and a touchdown. This is a guy who's used to making big plays at the biggest moments. And there's none bigger than tonight. The NFC Championship. Seahawks now lead again by 10.
I thought that was a big touchdown on Seahawks radio with Cooper Kupp. Here's why. We know how great Cooper Kupp is. Years ago, he won the Triple Crown of wide receiving. He put up Jerry Rice numbers. Jerry Rice numbers. And now he can play the slot. He can play 3rd down. You don't have to play him every play. But if you're going to double team Jackson Smith and Jigba, you cannot double team Cooper Kupp. You can't. So he's going to be floating around, probably catching a ball or 2 in the Super Bowl that could win the Super Bowl. I really like the matchup with him because I think the best matchup at the Super Bowl, and you're going to hear me beat this into the ground, is Christian Gonzalez, the cover corner, who would have been a great Raider. Oh, my God, he could have been a great Raider. And going up against Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be great. Let's break down the Super Bowl, but first talk about what the Raiders are doing. Jason McCourty joins us from CBS. He's an analyst now, does a great job. He's also a Super Bowl champion, formerly with the Patriots, and he joins us on Raider Nation Radio. Jason, appreciate you coming on. Before we get into the Super Bowl matchup, the news on the Raiders, reportedly, not official yet, of getting Klint Kubiak. What do you think the Raiders are doing? Do you like the move?
I do think it's a good fit. I think you look at the body of work and specifically what Kubiak was able to do this year, the fact that he's getting ready to prepare and play in the Super Bowl 60, the success he's had with Sam Darnold, watching what he's been able to do with Jackson Smith and Jigba week in and week out, of everyone knowing he's going to get the football, but still finding ways creatively to get him the ball. You think about for the Raiders, they're going to get a young quarterback, and Mendoza probably with the 1st overall pick. You have weapons in both Brock Bowers and Ashton Bench in the backfield. So now it'll be up to Kubiak to figure out ways
to get those guys the ball and have success on the offensive side of the ball. And you look at the Raiders roster, it's there. They don't have a lot of talent on that roster. So between him and general manager Spytek and obviously Brady's heavily involved and the things that go on there, they have to fill out a better roster to be competitive, especially in that division.
And that would be the offensive line. So you think they'd try to do what the Bears did last year, is go out and buy a couple offensive linemen in free agency? That's the quickest way to turn around a team that doesn't have an offensive line, can't protect the quarterback, and can't run the football.
You have to. And I think more specifically, you have to surround your team with the correct veterans. And I think that's the biggest thing. You mentioned the Chicago Bears. You go out and get a guard like Joe Tooney, who has played in Super Bowls with the New England Patriots, and they played in Super Bowls with the Kansas City Chiefs. And now you bring somebody over like that around a young quarterback who he spent his time with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. You want those type of influences on your team and on your roster. You look at second-year quarterback Drake May in New England. Vrabel gets the hire there, and they spent the most money in NFL and free agency in the history of the league. So they went out and got a bunch of veterans from Mac Hollins to Stephon Diggs on the offensive line. They drafted two guys. They got a new center in Bradbury. So it's the veterans that you surround your young core with. But part of having more talent on the field is also having the right guys in the locker room who are going to tutor and mentor those young guys to build the correct culture that the head coach set forward, that you can now grow this team and the foundation of it and have success in the long run.
Jason McCourty, kind enough to join us. So it looks like it's pretty much official here, according to Adam Schefter. Mike LaFleur will go to Arizona. And again, another young play caller, comes from a great tree, a lot of play callers above him. So I'm fine with that. His brother's an NFL coach. But what would you do with Kyler Murray? A great athlete, a little bit undersized. It just doesn't seem to have worked in Arizona. He's had some flashes. He's got a lot of money owed to him. What do you think they want to do with him before they get another quarterback and try to rebuild it again?
Man, it'll be interesting. My guess would be Kyler Murray doesn't play again for the Cardinals. And you look at the way last year transpired, and now you're getting a brand new head coach coming in. If you're LaFleur, like, you want to start to figure out who is going to be the guy that I feel like is going to best lead my team and best lead my offense. So you don't really want to start out in a sense of like, all right, I'm stuck with this. So I could see them moving on from Kyler Murray. Jacoby Brissett was the veteran that was there. He's still under contract. I could be saying, you know what, we're going to stick with Jacoby Brissett for now, and we're going to figure out who is our quarterback of the future and try to get that person on the roster. Or maybe it's a situation where we know we're going to have to go through a year where it's going to be tough, and then hopefully in that next year in the draft, we can maybe draft one. But I don't know. I just feel like when you just keep doing the same thing, it doesn't always work out. Peyton came in and he spent 1 year with Russ, and then he moved on, and they had to eat a lot of that money on that cap. But you look at where they were this year in the AFC Championship game, and they were able to draft a quarterback in Bo Nix. So maybe they do another year with Kyler Murray, but I don't know. The way last year transpired, the way Jacoby Brissett came in, I could see them easily moving on and trying to figure out what the future of the organization looks like. And Kyler Murray
takes him a quarter
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he's got a lot left in the tank. If he's completely healthy, he's got an opportunity. I think Jason, it's a good way to segue into Sam Darnold, right? Sam Darnold was left almost on the trash dumpster when he left Carolina. Then he went to San Francisco as a backup. I think they fixed him in San Francisco. Brian Greasy and Kyle Shanahan set him up for success in Minnesota. Minnesota let him go with J.J. McCarthy. And now, how do you look at this? How have you been talking about this on all your platforms on the resurgence of Sam Darnold heading into the Super Bowl?
Man, San Francisco is a quarterback rehab. Look at Mac Jones and the success he had when Brock Purdy went down. But you're thrilled for Sam Darnold. I was a part of that game in 2019 playing for the Patriots. When Sam Darnold got on the sideline and felt like he was seeing ghosts. And everybody laughed at that and mocked Darnold to a certain extent for his time with the New York Jets. And you said it. The journey that he's been on, I think that's the incredible thing about the NFL. You can have a guy that was the third overall pick in 2018 and now be on his 15 years later, and he's getting ready to have his team out there playing in the Super Bowl after a fantastic conference championship game. I think the talent was always there for Sam Darnold, and when you go through what he went through, he was confident along the way. And I think being in San Francisco and seeing the way Kyle Shanahan prepared his quarterback, how he gave him the answers and saw kind of, I don't want to say that they which those guys play with, but to go out there comfortably to perform, I think you learn a lot. Then the adversity that he had with the Vikings, you go out, you win 14 games, but it doesn't end the way you want, and they just decide to tell you to go out and kick rocks. And now he goes to Seattle, and let's not. Sam Darnold led the NFL in quarterback and turnovers with fumbles and interceptions. There was still so many doubters and naysayers, and he still was able to perform in the playoffs and have his team here. So it's an incredible story, and it's so fun to witness and watch of how he just continued to swing and plug away to get to where he is now.
Wrapping it up with Jason McCourty from CBS, the former Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. So I think the way for the Patriots to keep the game close and have an opportunity to win it is Drake May's legs. I really believe to get to this game and to run designed zone reads where he sees something break down and he takes off quickly and he doesn't get 2 or 3 yards. He gets 11 or 12. He puts his body on the line. He's diving forward. He's taking a hit on the sideline. Do you think that could be the difference? We know he's got a great deep ball, but what about him running against the matchup of the Seahawks?
I do think him running is going to be important, and a lot of that has to do with the aggressive nature that Seattle rushes after the quarterback. As a QB, if you can start to spring some of those runs, like you said, a 10-yard run here or there, now all of a sudden the defensive line, when they get to the sideline, the coach is saying, guys, we got to stay on our rush lane. We cannot let this guy out of the pocket. So now when you're rushing and you're hesitant, it gives you more time to get that ball down the field for some of those design shots that Josh McDaniels, your offensive coordinator, is going to dial up. I think along with Drake May's legs is also going to be their screening game. How can you be able to get those guys coming up the field and dump it right over their head to get the ball to Travion Henderson, to Ramondre Stevenson, and that part of the field to still back them up? This is a tough defense. And the one thing with New England, this playoff run, it was the Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos. So each and every week they've gone against the top 5 defense, and it's not going to be any different in the Super Bowl. The one thing for me, and I guess that's the X factor, is Josh McDaniels. He does such a fantastic job now with 2 weeks to prepare of figuring out what your weak spots are and how we're going to attack. If we're going to put the wide receivers in the backfield, lining up and empty, different personnel and different formations to try to expose different parts of the Seattle defense. That's what I'm most interested to see, because when I look at Seattle defense, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know where the hell the weakness is with all of these guys at every level, but he gets paid a lot more money than I do to have to figure that part out.
Jason, last one, and I appreciate your time. I think a Super Bowl matchup for the ages is Jackson Smith and Jigba going up against Christian Gonzalez, because Gonzalez can handle him. I really do. And I think Smith and Jigba is slippery. He's got speed, great moves. But Gonzalez is in the Super Bowl right now, and he can cut off a third of the field and be left alone in one-on-one coverage. Do you see that happening? And if he does, do you think he'll neutralize him, or could that open it up for Cooper Kupp to have a big day if he's not double teamed?
Yeah, I can see New England saying to themselves, we want to surround Jackson Smith and Jigba with as many players as possible. And the reason being is Kubiak has done a really good job throughout the playoff offensive coordinator with moving Jackson Smith and Jigba around. That game against the Rams, he scored on a wide open touchdown with him aligned in the backfield running a deep route. So I think Kubiak is going to do an excellent job of not allowing Christian Gonzalez to even line up on Jackson Smith and Jigba a ton in this game. He's going to have him in the slot, in the backfield, going in motion across the field to try to get favorable matchups across the board for Jackson Smith and Jigba. The one thing with the Patriots defense, though, what Darnold hasn't seen in these first 2 weeks in the playoffs for him, is he hasn't seen a team that's going to blitz the heck out of him like New England's going to do. They've done that throughout the playoffs, and they really impacted the quarterback. You look at the type of game that Justin Herbert had, and he missed opportunities. Then you watch C.J. Stroud that next week with 4 interceptions in the first half. And then obviously this last week was this past game with Jarrett Stidham. And as a backup quarterback, there was so many moving parts in front of him. I think that's going to be the key for them. Yes, the matchup with Gonzalez in the back end, but how can you confuse Sam Darnold? How can you get him to hold on to the ball so that he feels that pressure? That's when Sam Darnold's not at his best, when he can feel the guys around him.
Jason, thank you very much. I hope to see you on Radio Row and out there in San Francisco. I greatly appreciate your time. All the best.
Yes, sir. Anytime. Good to talk to you.
All right. Jason McCourty, nice guest. think he had a lot to say on Kubiak and obviously the matchup in the Super Bowl for a guy who really knows the sport well. 702-365-9200. Want to thank the bricklayers, everybody who streamed the show today. This is a big number we put up here today. Thank you very much. Starting tomorrow, we'll have a stream from San Francisco. It'll mostly be on the crowd and on the guest. You've seen enough of me. We'll do that for the next couple of days. So looking forward to heading to San Francisco, and be in touch with me on all social media as we get it going. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I appreciate that, and we'll wrap it up here on the other side. If you'd like to get in, the topic of the day, are you completely behind the potential hiring of Klint Kubiak? Will this get you back in the fold on a positive level with Raider Nation? Are you on board with this? Let me know. Let's keep it going on the flagship of the Silver and Black. Thank you, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow from San Francisco. Yes, San Francisco. Haven't said that in a long time. Thanks, everybody, today. You're all great. Please, right now, hit like. Hit like. There's not enough likes. And subscribe. I would appreciate it. Please subscribe.